Hi, this is your instructor Daniel Chang for Anim 133 character design. And this week, what we're going to do is we're going to take our thumbnails that we did last week. We're going to choose choose our favorite one or do a mix of maybe two of our favorite ones and kind of combine them together to make something that's a mix between those two. And this is just the next step evolving uh in the process of getting our final character design down. So this is going to, take what we've got so far and kind of push it even further. Like when I was doing these thumbnails, I was just, trying to trying to do my best and quickly getting down as many ideas as I can. Now that I have the ideas in front of me, now I can emphasize on pushing things like the proportions and the pose and the details and even the face, right? So there's that. So what the first thing I did was I created this canvas here. I made it fairly large just so that I can use, have room to move around in it. Now, if your computers can't handle, you know, this size, then that's fine. You can work smaller too. But I've got this at 11 inches high by 17 inches wide. So let me show you. File new. What you do is convert this to inches. You make this 17 and you make this 11 and you leave you keep the resolution at 300 pixels per inch. And then yeah, hit OK and then you'll create this canvas um, like this. And then the next thing I did was I came in here and I just grabbed the thumbnails and the reference images that I liked from here, and I think I might actually use bits of this guy as well. I'm not sure how to mix the big oafish guy with the tall skinny guy, but I I there's aspects of this guy that I did not want to lose, and I got to figure that out too. So after you do that, you come in here and you grab all the rough. I just put it off on the side so I can draw in the middle. And then I make a new layer. Let me move this up so we can all see it. Yeah, make a new layer. And then now we draw, right? Now we draw. Um, cool. Let me hit Control 0 to, fit to canvas. And we could just start drawing here. I'm going to hide that and we're going to start drawing. So one of the first things to do on drawing, you can draw with like a kind of a gray if you wanted to, or it depends. Like, do we want to do the shape design thing that we did before? And just this time it'll be a lot more refined, or what, right? So, like for example, if I went with the shape design that we did before, let's figure out the pose first. So this is the legs, maybe. Notice how the thighs bigger than the uh, the calf down there, right? And then we can kind of do this. Wait, like that. I kind of like the scalloping there. And let's pull this back a bit, like this. I'm trying right now to push this pose a lot crazier than I have before. I've been looking at some Marvel Rivals concepts, and their characters really push their poses, and there's aspects of that I like about it. Um, you know, I still kind of like my grabbing this thing, but now we just make it massive, right? If this was Marvel Rivals style, right? And then and then and they're actually not afraid of putting large shoulders on their female characters. I think what it is they'll pinch the waist a lot more, so it's this weird ratio of yeah. But um, remember in class I was talking to about character poses and character acting, where a character that leads by their hips, their chest, or their head, right? This one's definitely, strutting where the hips are wide. And you can kind of see this here, right? This character's got the hips kind of, you know, bump, and then the torso kind of leans back a little bit. It's kind of, you know, performative. It's kind of like the character's actually posing. But you can push it, and it's almost like to the point where the character's like breaking their back, you know, which is funny. So I'm just coming back here and cutting away to kind of get a semblance of the silhouette that I want from it, you know? And it'll probably be like this, and then we can cut away, be like that. Cool. I don't know. It might be too much, but it's almost like better to take it too far and then pull it back than to try to. Yeah. So I'm just getting kind of crazy with the gesture here, and you can just kind of lighten that up and play around. Yeah, I'm gonna. So one of the keys here too is if you take if you take the character's head and you draw straight down, that's actually going to be generally where the weight of the character is going to be so you want to make sure that the weight is evenly distributed um on this side versus yeah and on this side, right? Just kind of like mass wise you kind of want to have that feel. Yeah, I'm not saying that I've got it perfect, but you know but next I'm just gonna start sketching over this very lightly. So, one of the key things here is things like attitude and head tilt. A straight on pose, like I could have drawn this where the head is like straight on like that, but that feels very flat and almost like a cardboard cutout. But if you tilt the head up, And that's a harder angle for sure because now we're seeing like the bottom of the nose and, you know, sort of spots where we're not used to seeing on a character and may not be necessarily that attractive on the character. But, you know, and so I'm just trying to get this hair now, like kinda, kinda like, kinda like, almost like blades. But remember, they were like feathers, right? Like raven feathers. So kind of drawing that. Now, because she's leaning back, all the lines here, the masses here, they're moving away from us, right? You gotta remember that. So this torso is moving away from us like that, right? So I'm just drawing this fairly light at first, or you could go darker, I guess, but maybe for the sake of the demo, I should go a little darker. But you could like step it, take it in steps, because the darker you go, the more what you call it, the more you know defined it is, right? Like start going darker once you're sure of the design you're going for. Like, like I want like something like that. And then here's my shoulder. And over here, I'm gonna take that cyborg arm and make that, let's see. And any opportunities where I have where I can do like a overhang or something that sticks out, like for example, the shoulder strap of this tank top here, have it stick out, I'm gonna emphasize it. And then same thing here. And why is that? It just kind of gives it a more interesting silhouette, other than, like somebody who's just, this kind of shows costume, it's like it's not a nude character, something like this. And so if you have like little bits and bobs and stuff like that that you can put in there, you can do it. It's a weird position to put the hand in, I think. So maybe it's just a fist. I have her kind of posing the hand a bit high up. I don't know, it just works better for this gesture, I think, that I'm trying to go for right here. I may have to like dial it back a little later, but So it would normally be like that. That'd be like her pelvis, right? But she's got all this cool stuff on her belt, so there's gonna be like objects and things here that kind of, let's see, stick out, and then, oh, maybe instead of going on to the hacking device, this makes no sense, but what if it went onto the wrench? It's a hacking. Why would there be a hacking? I don't know. I'm just I'm trying to find a shape here that would work. Yeah, maybe like that. I don't know. It might hurt the gesture. Ah, what if it's like that? Like she just swung it over her shoulder, so it's like whoosh, like that. Maybe that could work. So if it's like this, maybe there's like maybe the cable stretches and shortens, kind of like those dog leashes, maybe. So maybe that's what that device is. Let's see here. I'm wondering if so what I don't like about this going up, even though that's accurate, is it makes her look like she's wearing a diaper, and so this might be more fashionable to have it angled down. This is one of those areas right here on the belt where it can kind of go either way because our, here, I'm just gonna paint it in. Oh, wait. Oops. Oh, I know why. It's because this is at like low opacity. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm drawing here. So, yeah, if it went down, it might be better. If it went like that. And this part can go back up. It might make it look like she's got kind of a belly though. So, it's like maybe a little higher up. And then, yeah, and then we still have all the cool crap sticking off of the belt here. Notice how, I'm kind of just going through very similar process that I did before, where, but I'm just kind of drawing it in passes. So this is going to take you more than a single pass, hopefully, because you're kind of building additional ideas into it as you go on, especially if you change the pose. I'm not sure about bending the wrist back. I mean, the classic would be to bend the wrist this way, but that would slightly change the angle here, which is fine. It's fine to do that. might actually work out better for this guy. Yeah, that could work out pretty good. So yeah, now I've got this. Yeah, it'd be better to just draw it at full opacity, because then you can color pick as you go. Yeah, I don't know. Don't have it perfect every time. So yeah, now I can erase away here. Really get a sense of my silhouette. It gives me a gap here, which is good. Because that gap will inform. Okay. Will inform this silhouette. Let's see here. We've got these high boots. I kind of like the high boot here. Hmm. Trying to think about the silhouette read. Yeah, man. Huh. I'm getting a lag here. Oh, I moved her. That's what was happening here. All right. And then we got our boot here. I guess it would kind of, the knee would kind of correspond with the angle of the foot, right? So there's that. So it would actually wrap around here. Cool. I wonder if we could give her shorts or something. And then we can give her like those punk like stockings. That might work to go with the high boots. It's kind of tank girlish, right? And then over here, this could be our a bionic leg too. I've got that over here as a bionic leg. But the thigh could be you know, whatever this fishnet stocking is. Unless if that looks too, we could change it up. We can make it kind of Tim Burton-esque. I noticed that Tank Girl's got a lot of stripe. It's a little Harley Quinn though, isn't it? Let's just make it all bionic. It's fine. Let's see. Make it kind of thin around the ankle. Really push the feeling of the, like that. And this is my center line on the head. Now, the thing is, when a character's looking up, their nose will be higher because of the foreshortening happening, and their eyes may look like they're a little bit more sunk back. The other thing too is there's this curve, right, that happens here. So that'd be my rough end of, what's the expression? Ooh, it's kind of like Jinx, kind of craze happy. I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't really quite come up with her personality, right? Like, what is she? She like a That's a mighty big chin. I'm gonna cut it a little bit. Again, this is where we figure out head shape, silhouette shapes, etc. It's a rough pass. Here's the shorts. We could also put a strap here, right? And let's say, for example, if she's got a cool tool there of some sort, it could hook onto this strap. This would be a good spot too. And the logo, again, that logo is the Raven logo. Kind of does feel like Jinx. There's always going to be similarities to things we recognize in pop culture. Ah, can't erase at like this. You have to just pick the gray color underneath. Holding down Alt is the color picker. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Let's go make a layer underneath this. And I'm going to pick this gray. And I just want to see what the rest of this. The reason why I'm not doing it on the same layer is I don't want to go over the line work. I want this gray to fill out underneath my existing line work here. So that's, but I just want to see my silhouette if it reads. If these I don't know what the heck that thing is. I may have to tweak it a bit, but I have not really done anything with her boots. Haven't really emphasized it yet, but I might later, but it's all right. And then, of course, the true test if your silhouette reads or not. the true test is what? You shrink it down. So after, well, hold on, let me erase some. Erase, erase that. Any other bots and bits? It's pretty good. So you shrink it down. Does that read as a cool character and a cool silhouette, right? And from here you could, adjust it some. Like I'm thinking that that whatever thing I had on there did not read as a tool belt. It read more like a holster for a gun. So let's just erase that. Let's see. I'm not sure if that needs to touch the shoulder. It could just touch sort of the back of her neck. That could work as well. Something like that. This this pose is push pretty crazy, so we might need to tune it back a little bit. How would you do that? Well, you could just kind of. It's not. It's subtle. It's just gonna be a little bit like maybe just a bit, right? And then you just kind of readjust your lines to. There you go. Something like that, I guess. But again, I pushed it far first, and then so this part we're gonna see the underside of that wrench more because it's going away from us. Like for example, if this was a curve, it would curve that way. This is the number one thing that I've been noticing on, all the students' works where people are still having a difficult time with it, and that is when objects are going away from us, you know, the angle that we're seeing, they go away from us, right? Like that. Um, that will be the thing that, you know, people that review portfolios are gonna go, oh, well, this person has no idea of perspective if things that are going away from us suddenly have like a different curve to the you know but anyways, this is good. This is fun. I'm liking this silhouette. It's working for me. It's pushed, it's dynamic, and I know that all I have to do is refine and clean this up. Um, and the it should work at this point because if it reads at this stage, it's going to read well at the polish stage, right? So that's the first sketch. Now let's move on to our bad guy sketch. What? You're not gonna refine her now? Well, I'm thinking now while I have some energy that I can get started because this is actually the part that takes the most thinking and the most energy. All the rest is just kind of like you could almost sit back, listen to some music and chill and just detail. Um this part I actually have to make decisions. Yeah. So that's the hard part. That's It's like thumbnailing. That's the hard part, actually. Um, all right. Um, this time I'm going to now combine my Undertaker and my Brute. And the part that I'm thinking about is, this Undertaker's a skinny fella, but I could make his shoulders really wide and really pointy, to kind of make him, more menacing and less scrawny, right? Um, and that way, it could kind of be a compromise between the two, where he could still be a threatening character, right? But the other thing too is, the way I've drawn him right now is he certainly does look like, the scrawny one, the skinny one. He looks evil to the point where if he turns good later, if I so decide to, if he turns good later, it's gonna be hard to make somebody that looks like that, feel more empathetic. Whereas like the big brutish guy, you can kind of feel sorry for him, or, feel bad for him. So I don't know. There's just something about the drawing, um, the personality on it. So I kind of wanted to make it something in between those two designs. All right. And I'm thinking kind of like, how Jafar has wide shoulders, even though Jafar's a skinny guy. So it could be part of the costume, or it could be part of the anatomy as well, right? Um, I'm thinking similar to Loki, you know? Loki's got elements very similar to that, right? He's still kind of a character you can relate to, even though he's kind of, like you can't 100% trust the guy, right? So, so there's that. Um, so let's do we could try it going the other way this time. Draw the line work first, and then just I'm just giving you this as an example because maybe some of you like to do the line work first and not necessarily, you know. So I'm just gonna draw like this is shoulder, this is the waist, this is the legs, and then this is the head. Now his head is a different shape, of course. It's kind of like it's weird. It's kind of like this or something, right? It's like whoosh, you know. And then I'm thinking, this way we can emphasize all these cool V shapes, right? These pointy bits as uh as he's facing this direction, right? And then I'm not sure, like the arms kind of get a little bit thicker. Could give him a. What if he has a cane or something like Loki does? Could. And remember, he's got what do we call it? The hand here, and he's got the cigarette. And I'm gonna shrink it down a bit, bring it up. Again, straight down from the head. That's the center of gravity. Right. We'll still do the pointy feet thing. With the cane, he feels a lot like the Joker, too, which is also very much a Loki-esque kind of character. So that could work. Oh, what if the cane has the same kind of shape as his head? It's this sort of hook type of shape to it, right? And so from here we can do this. And his head is going to tilt sort of downish or up. Yeah, let's do up. Yeah, up is probably better. He almost looks even more evil. Damn it. I was just thinking, to kind of thicken up his upper body, just so like if this character got in a fight with our main character, he wouldn't look so weak and scrawny, right? Again, these yeah, it's like that curves up maybe. Feels more like horns in a way than yeah. Okay, so now let's let's talk about his coat, right? It would normally curve kind of like like this. And then we have like a tie or something. Feel like it's hiding a lot when it's doing this, so maybe it opens up a little bit more here. That way we could see his torso better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's have it open up around here so we could see it better. That would stick it out a little bit more, I think. It's a little trickier, but it's a little messier this way too. Notice how long the legs are now. I wonder if there's like maybe it's a hidden gun or something. I don't know. A cane gun, perhaps. I'm trying to. Maybe it curves this way instead of out. Always trying to figure this out here. So like this curve, but what if when it comes out here, just goes like that? Does that help or hurt the silhouette? Maybe we should go down. Going down is better because then that makes this gesture do this. Sometimes it's a feeling. This collar is feeling a lot more like a devil costume, which is fine, you know. Kind of a. Oh, I like emphasizing the neck on him too. Giving him a long neck actually helps with the silhouette and the character. Interesting. Something like that, perhaps. We'll have to figure out the sleeves. More pointy bits. Pointier the better, please. Yeah. He's just made out of pointy bits. That's the idea. All right. So then after I get the line work down, then I come back in and I paint paint it gray behind him in a separate layer, of course. And then we'll combine the two. We could do a split on the back of the trench coat. Both characters, I kind of have their poses with the hips forward, huh? Makes a good gesture. He feels confident this way. So it's a weird one because I was talking about before how like the hips forward when you're walking certainly feels like a oh, this could be a sword. Like a sword cane. Maybe. Hmm. I don't know. I was talking before how like hips forward almost feels like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, kind of like a lackadaisical character. But for some reason here in this pose, maybe it's because the camera feels like it's at a low angle to him. Does feel a little bit more, not so much lazy, but more like, you know, kind of strutting or something like he's got that. But it is a neat gesture. I may still have to figure out something with this. Ah, like that maybe. That's better. So one informs the next, right? So this, if we're gonna go for horns, let's think about it as horns. They're horn ears. Ears in the shape of horns. And then again, see, so the arms, I'm drawing through and behind. What would the arms actually do back there? Probably like that. So that's not the elbow. That's like a that's the cuffs of his shirt. That's a hard one to communicate. Ah, the hole. The hole will do it. If you put a hole there, kind of like that. This one's a little messier than I would like, but I like the shape, especially up there. And then we'll figure out this part. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Whereas him with the bent hand here feels better. Feels a bit more like. And then also pinky up. He's a pinky up guy. When he drinks from a glass, pinky up. A little fancier, a little, you know, especially because his pinky's going to be kind of gnarly with a claw or something. Pinky up. I'm going to have to figure out the smoothness of this too. Whoop, swoosh, whoosh. Yeah, something ish similar here. And then feels almost too smooth here, so probably does need a little something here along the belt. Something here. Like a strap or a belt piece or something. Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, have that kind of loose around the shoulders on the sleeves here, and then tightens around the elbow, and then kind of, you know, got the big old cuff here at the end. That could work. That could work. Let's see what happens if I enlarge his head slightly, because right now I've got him really tall with the small head, so let's see about maybe enlarging the head a little bit. That could work. Yeah, beforehand he looked like he was 9 feet tall or something. Okay, cool. So there's my rough in of my villain, and here's my rough in of my hero. And she'll be. It's not to scale. If it was to scale, it'd be like, let's say, like he would be like. We could try to draw it to scale. It'd be like that. That'd be the scale. She would just come up to his chest, perhaps, and then, yeah, he would. be about that tall. That's a good size difference, right? Okay. So from the rough, the next step going forward is just the cleanup process, and it takes longer, but there's less thinking involved. On the cleanup process is just um, make it make it look good, um, and that's also where you might want to bring additional reference in as well. So um, we'll be back, and I'll show you the cleanup.